heads, and welcome to The League, exploring the League of Legends lore from A to Z. My name is Rebecca.
And I'm John.
My name is Mark.
Today, we're talking about the alternate universe, Spirit Blossom. Why did I say it like that? I specifically, in my head, was like, say Spirit Blossom alternate universe, and then my brain still jumbled it up. The Spirit Blossom alternate universe is what we're talking about today. We'll see if I care enough to tab away from my ARAM to cut out the middle bit as I'm editing this later.
She won't.
Take your bets now, folks. All right.
No, now I can't because it's funny. This is the thing. I would have tapped out and I'd be like, oh no, I gotta leave this in. Oh shit, I died?
Well, at least you got an excuse. Built in, you get one freebie.
So sorry to anyone who's on my team in any of those ARAMs if it ever happens.
It'll be us.
It's usually oh no, you guys ditch me now. I just play ARAMs by myself when I edit. Anyway, the Spirit Blossom AU, specifically on its like first release, we kept saying season 1. It's not really divided by seasons on the wiki page.
It's not. We just kind of, we got Star Guardian.
We got Star Guardian. Yeah.
It's like a way to mentally organize it, though.
Yeah.
It's like especially with something like this.
Except for us.
Yeah, we have 2 seasons. Honestly, most of the podcasts I listen to don't either, so it like threw me off the first time I listened to that. I was like, what do you mean season? What do you think, you're a real show?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
It's good with this, too, because this is a sort of living mythology, right, that they are continuously sort of building on and adding to. So we got to peel back these sedimentary layers of folklore, right, to kind of understand where things started and kind of where they're at now, I suppose. And it's not such a continuous storyline. It seemed to me like, looking at the new ones coming out, that those are more standalone in the additions to the mythology. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That they're not like they don't continue on things that happen with I don't know, Set, for example, right?
Right.
Or I'm sorry, what is he, like the spirit of like
War?
No, it's
No.
Darius. Remember? He's like this. He's not really a spirit. He's just like his own little
in-betweener.
like,
yeah, he's
yeah. I mean, specifically, right? Because he's a
son of an
he's
Akane and a Kanmai.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a bad example.
Yeah, Spirit, it always throws me off, this AU, because the Spirit Blossom Festival is something that does happen in Runeterra. It's in the League of Legends universe. But a lot of the stuff we get about Spirit Blossom is like the fictional of it. You know what I mean? Like the mythology of it, with using League champions.
Right.
But Set is not actually this Spirit Blossom guy.
Right.
That makes sense.
They essentially the champions that have the skins are essentially playing the parts of their their counterparts in the Spirit Blossom world.
I love looking at it like that. Like they're putting on plays of the Spirit Blossom
kind of, because in
Kinda.
Spirit Blossom mythology there is a gatekeeper, right? And she's played by Ari because people consider her a fox, and it makes sense. But in the mythology, she's just the gatekeeper.
Well, I guess it depends on who you talk to and who you ask, right?
Different people have different animals. Some have otters. We found out.
Oh yeah, that one was cute.
But yeah,
I guess we
the
say
name
more
doesn't
like
change
Ari
much,
is
right?
not.
Like it's gatekeeper, collector.
That seems to be the case. I guess like more to the point that like Ari is not the gatekeeper, right? It's like, you know what I mean? Because
Right.
I see a lot of confusion around that, looking at people like commenting on like YouTube videos, even though it was recent cinematic that we did a reaction to, by the way. Go check it out on the YouTube. I don't think we did like the best. Like we could have done even more justice, because it is quite a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
But even then, like comments there and in the subreddits, I see genuine confusion as to like, well, why is Ashe and Ionia? And it's like, nah, it's look, man, it's kind of metaphorical and interpretational and a little hand wavy, it's like, it's kind of just a feeling, man. It's a vibe.
Her vibe is in Ionia. Yeah.
Should be go get that shit back, man. Got to charge those things.
Yeah. I guess real quick too, while we're on the subject, because we've been saying the word Spirit Blossom in Spirit Blossom Festival, to touch on real quick what that is in Ionia proper. It is an ancient and celebrated time in Ionia when the door to the spirit world is opened and the dead return to their loved ones, and spirits of all manner turn their eyes towards the living. So we can see that includes the benevolent Kanmai to the obsessive Akana. So, and we find out in some of the stories too, basically like the process in Ionia is you find a spirit blossom petal that ties you to your dead loved one. You know, depending on the strength of your bond, you'll have an easier time finding it. You brew tea out of it, you drink the tea, and then you can speak to your dead loved ones. Kind of seems to be the process.
It's really
and then
cool.
They can move on, if they want.
Yeah, definitely that. I think I remember in one of the stories we read, I want to say Sisterhood of War, there's like a potential like special incense involved in certain ways. It's interesting because like something we see, at least in the story, is that like even though this is a common thing across Ionia, the maybe the details can be very different. Traditions even can be different, right? So it's kind of interesting that there might be little specific differences of how they do it. But I do find it interesting also that sort of the idea of a lot of it seems to be sort of just like, it's almost like tending to the people who have passed on. You're just kind of like, you're kind of like just checking in on them and letting them know, like, or more like you're allowing them to check in on you is almost the way it's kind of portrayed. That they are kind of at peace when they can kind of see that, like, okay, everyone's thriving, y'all are doing good. I'm good. I'm chill. Back to the spirit realm with me. Catch you next spirit blossom.
Deuces.
And something that, it's hard because so much of the details that like around it come from this short story that we'll talk about called Perennial. So I don't know what to say for that specifically, or what's like for the general understanding of how spirit blossom works, right? Like, but you're absolutely right. There's like an in-universe thing that happens in Ionia. And then,
right. And then a lot of the AU that we get is from beyond the veil, basically, the behind the scenes in the Ionian afterlife, basically.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of champions here, and full disclosure, I didn't read any of the new ones because I kind of assumed like, I don't know, that'd be season 2.
Yeah.
I don't even know if the blurbs for the new ones are out. I didn't actually check.
They are. I looked at them, but like I said, they're very self-contained. They have their own. It's like their own little pocket of storytelling that kind of just relates to them, as far as I can tell.
Gotcha. And what were the new ones? Because I think I actually might have pulled all of them from here, but.
Ashe would be one of them. Aurelia.
Yeah, Ashe, Aurelia, Zyra.
Oh, yeah, Zyra.
Okay, perfect.
Ivern.
All right, I can confirm I did not pull any of the new ones in here, so. Good.
I looked at these earlier. I don't know.
Morgana, probably. I saw her in the cinematic.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that.
Who?
Morgana.
I don't think so.
Was she in the cinematic and they didn't even give her lore? That's fucking rude.
Let me double check here. I'll pull the skin list now since we're just talking about it. She is in that cinematic. That's definitely her, and I'm pretty sure that's Defo Nidalee too.
I hadn't even seen Italy. I gotta rewatch that cinematic.
The new ones,
I guess.
The other new ones are Lux, who's in the cinematic, Varys.
How do we forget Lux?
Bard. Yeah, right. How
Bard? Was he in the cinematic? What the fuck?
I don't think so. I could be wrong.
Bard.
I think they just knew what would kind of catch eyes. You gotta get that Lux in there. So that's kind of the new collection. And then the wiki has Morgana, Nidalee, and Karma kind of tied in here, but they don't seem to have skins at the moment, so I don't know what's going on.
Okay. I mean, that could happen. We've seen that a few times. Like, someone is tied into the AU but doesn't actually have skins in it.
Yeah.
It's tricky.
So I guess for season 1 skins, or season 1/1.5, because I also have... Set wasn't technically season 1, but I've got him here. Fuck it. We have it kind of separated into the Akana, the Kanmai, and then the people who kind of skirt that line.
The 2 people who skirt the line.
Yeah. Technically, I guess we could say 3, but I do have them separated here. So first of all, we got kindred, as kind of the skirting the line one. The kindred, the Ionian interpretation of kindred is a child and her beastly companion playing games with one another until they're called to perform their duties.
So Annie.
Yeah, basically, honestly.
I don't know what Annie's duties are, though.
Murder? Drinking milk at bars.
Drinking milk at bars and murder and stuff.
Get those bones.
And then they also have, a lot of the Spirit Blossom skins have Legends of Runeterra level ups here, too. So the Kindred one, the Kindred appear as two, the Eternal Child and the Ever-Hungry Beast. But in truth, they are one being of a single mind and purpose. Delighting in one another's company, they run and bound throughout the spirit realm until the time they are called upon to perform their never-ending duties. So it doesn't provide a lot of new context, but, that's Kindred. Them. That's Kindred.
They got duties. Death duties.
I feel like they would never have time to run and play.
Right? A lot of people dying all the time.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Especially lately.
The damn world today, it ain't what it used to be. A candy was 5 cents.
In my day, the spirit blossoms.
They bloomed every day.
Every year, the spirit blossoms bloom.
Yeah. Next we got Spirit Blossom Set. Also straddling the line because his mother was a Kanmai and his father was an Akana.
You want to explain what the Kanmai and the Akana are, honey?
I don't think we did. So, I think we actually did a little bit. Just you
described one as a
benevolent and the other bad. As obsessive.
Yeah.
But basically, the Kanmai are kind of the. It seems like the helpful afterlife. I don't want to call them demons, but the helpful afterlife spirits versus the not quite demons, but like kind of demons.
They're not so helpful afterlife people. They're not trying to guide you down the river. They're trying to get you in their lantern.
Right.
Spoiler alert for who might be.
And a lot of them, still have their jobs to fulfill within the lore. Some of them are just
they're still brick building and stuff.
Yeah, it definitely. It definitely does seem like some of the Akana are like. I think we covered this a little in like the Lunar Festival lore too, but like just because they are like an Akana or like a demon doesn't mean that they don't have an important role to fulfill and that they are fulfilling it. But it does mean that sometimes they might try to stretch it a little bit and take over more than they should. Which is one thing that we see for sure.
It's an interesting idea. This sort of broadly, I feel like I've seen in other pieces of like fantasy media, this idea of like these sort of weirdly almost like living myths where it's like the myth has to be performed and you need people to do both the good and bad parts to complete the drama, almost complete the piece. And it couldn't exist. Like the worst thing that could happen is if you had no Thresh or whoever, spirit of bad times. It's interesting. I like that they do it. It's a really neat idea.
Mm-hmm. Right. But yeah, so Set, so his little thing, some guide the dead down the path, which is the gatekeeper here. Others tempt them from it, which is the collector there. Another still has no allegiances, as his spirit lies in conflict with itself. Born from Kanmai and Akana, Set lived harmoniously until, abandoned by his father, he sought retribution. Now he can only catch whispers of salvation as he spends his days challenging slain warriors, testing their worth. So, I mean, it kind of sounds like he's,
Jax.
I was gonna say, like, the, when we talked about the something of the wolf skins.
Chosen of the wolf.
The chosen of the wolfskins. He kind of sounds like, the Ionian chosen of the wolf, just like challenging warriors when they die to test their mettle almost.
That's true.
Also, it is worth mentioning his father that abandoned him. Guess what he's the spirit of?
I remember this. It's like the spirit of like abandonment.
Punch
right?
him.
He's the spirit of abandonment.
I remember this being
I think
very
we
funny.
did talk about that, about her maybe that being a red flag for her. Honey, are you sucking meat off of your arm?
I spilled some on my arm. Meat's not cheap.
Well, someone's.
You're on camera for this.
Thanks. Yeah, but the listeners didn't have to know that.
Right.
But thank you for
That was
looping
you.
them in.
I couldn't stop
Right.
that from escaping my body.
You know what? The people need to know.
Yeah, you do, because
true.
you had to see what I saw. Just John
Put on no
sucking on
airs,
his
right? Warts
hairy
and all.
arm to get the tiny droplet of meat off of there. Anyway,
You get
Desperate.
sticky otherwise.
Oh, man.
Now, the last person I have straddling this line here is Aphelios. So, Aphelios himself in this lore is technically a Kanmai. So, he doesn't have his own lore blurb. He kind of shares one with a loon because a loon is an Akana. So Ionians share whispered stories of the twin spirits of the night, Aphelios and Elune. It is said the darkening of the sky comes from the brothers' armaments, leaving the fabric of blues and whites apart to create an obsidian canvas painted with stars. The sisters' motives are more mysterious.
ooh.
It's interesting. It's interesting. She was in TFT. That's why she is kind of like.
Yes,
Here,
and this was
right? Is that kind of where it's coming
specifically the model that they used in TFT2, was her Spirit Blossom model.
Right. It's interesting. What I was going to say about Set, the Chosen of the Wolf thing is very interesting because if we go back to Set as he actually is in lore, right? Like his father was Noxian, right?
Yeah.
Is that, as I'm recalling?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about the idea that like the Noxian kind of presence or invasion has in some way sort of affected the Spirit Blossom mythos, and that there is now some aspect of this Chosen of the Wolf thing that is kind of metaphysically now a part of the Spirit Blossom mythology.
I love
Like,
that.
I love
I
it
don't
too.
know.
I mean, especially because we know for sure that the Noxian invasion has heavily impacted the spirit realm.
Yes.
So I don't see
Yeah.
why this would be any
And the
different,
Spirit
right?
Blossom Festival.
Yeah,
We
this is
see
their
that
first
as
time
well.
having a festival in a while.
And their people
So-
are there. Like, that's something we learn at the end, yes, is that they also have petals to find from people that they've lost.
Even though
that
I don't
something
think they're
that
going
happened?
to.
Yeah.
They went with the pyre instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if they were ever going to actually find. I don't know. We'll talk about it when we get to the
Yeah, it's true.
story because
That's
it's a
part of the
very
story.
interesting question.
Now we've got a few other Arcana here. We got Spirit Blossom Cassiopeia. Rumored to have once been a beautiful princess, legend says Cassiopeia vanished into the mountains when her sister staged a coup, never to return. So great was her beauty and so renowned her cunning that a shrine was built to honor the spirit of temptation until her story was accepted into popular folklore. So she is the spirit of temptation.
They're really into the snake, huh?
They are really into the snake. She does offer to crush you, I think, in spirit bonds.
I
remember that.
It's a little
mean,
bonus
Yeah.
you can get, you
Be
know.
hard to say no.
A little
Yeah.
boner you can get.
Nice.
Yo,
Boner jokes.
God, I wish we had one of those sound pads from like a radio
Right.
station. Boner.
Yeah.
Awooga.
Let's do this for the next 30 minutes.
I do often want to take little sound bites and use them like on the stream, like for bits. Like you could pay bits, and then then my voice would come up going boner.
Well, maybe we will.
Yeah, I don't know if I have the energy.
A lot of work.
That's so much work. I have to listen to my podcast.
Ugh. Why would somebody do that?
No, thank you.
Next up, we have Spirit Blossom Darius. Darius's body fell to the dirt, yet another soldier's sacrifice, but his soul would not rest. Picking up his axe just as soon as it was knocked from his mortal hand, the spirit of war arose. A calamity motivated only towards bloodshed. Darius stalks the mortal world, searching for the thrill of battle. And this I would also kind of consider, I guess, Spirit Blossom 1.5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tricky.
Then we have Spirit Blossom Lilia, a shy fawn spirit. Lilia once served as the guardian of the sacred Ionian forest until her grove was destroyed and cast into flame. Consumed by loss, she now slumbers in the spirit realm, reliving the destruction in an unending nightmare, unaware of the timid hope still waiting to bloom. Luckily, you can save her from that fate.
Oh, yeah.
In Spirit Bonds.
Yeah, I did. I saved her.
What is Spirit Bonds for someone who doesn't know? You've mentioned it a few times with Spirit Bonds.
That's the season 1 in-client event. Now this was like an in-client visual novel, not even visual novel. I guess visual novel.
Yeah,
I guess.
it's like you were able to make a few decisions here and there.
Yeah, and like they wouldn't impact anything. Everything always led back to the same story. But you know, they changed the text so it would seem like you were impacting something. So that was fun.
I got a lot of people to fall in love with me.
Yeah, you could build relationships with people, and then you had a certain amount of spirit blossoms you could earn by playing the game that you could then gift to people that you had max friendship with, and you get a special icon from them. And
it was fun.
It was fun. It was like, it was their, you know, it was
really
a very
their first attempt.
It was what it was what Sentinels of Light really wanted to be. It was like a good in-game narrative that didn't take itself too seriously, and you know, wasn't canon, which is really key for these types of things.
Yeah, more appropriate for the way it's presented too, right?
Yeah,
it's a kind of romancy visual novelty type thing. Like you said, visual novel is a good comparison. It's mostly what it is. Makes sense that they did it that way.
Yeah, it was fun. It was funny too. They had like you get to see like very funny versions of characters, very funny
like
interactions,
comedic fresh moments and stuff. And Teemo's quite literally just trolling every single person there. And
Kindred is
watching like Thresh get mad at Teemo. That's really great.
That's good. Yeah. All the wolf interactions were just fucking gold.
Yeah. Those were fun.
Wolf was a true highlight.
Real himbo.
You can no longer play this game. You can find videos of people kind of playing it. You can also find the scripts on the wiki if you just kind of want to like read through the various options. But a lot of fun stuff there.
Spirit Bonds.
Yeah. Then we've got Spirit Blossom Master Yi, I think another 1.5er. Legends speak of Master Yi, a swordsman who took but one student in his lifetime. After an unceremonious betrayal, Yi perished, not from a blade, but from a broken heart.
Aww.
Now, the spirit of legacy roams the spirit world searching for a pupil. He is lost, anyone that joins him destined to face the same fate. And this has a Prestige skin from when Prestige was fashion show.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Yi arrives at the Spirit Blossom Fashion Festival, donning tinted shades of the finest fabrics. While others prefer to celebrate with close family and friends, Yi revels in the attention his outfit brings, intent to cement his style legacy. Because he's the spirit of legacy.
God. It's Zoolander.
It is Zoolander.
It really is just Zoolander.
The Highlander.
That's different.
That's his.
It's his title.
Yeah.
Or his ult. I don't know.
Yeah. Is it still? Surely it's not, right?
Who knows?
I doubt it.
Who can keep track?
Who plays Yi?
Who reads the lore?
I don't do either of those.
And now we have another Legends of Runeterra level up. The Spirit of Legacy is a tragic entity, a swordsman lost in a perpetual search for a pupil worthy of his tutelage. Yet, is it a warrior's potential that Master Yi seeks, or is it a sturdy heart, one that could never betray his trust? You know, Master Yi's been hurt before, you know?
Yeah, he needs like a good Linkin Park CD or something. Or Alanis Morissette, however you want to vibe to your heartbreak.
Heavy is the crown, Yi.
I was thinking like, you know, old Linkin Park. He's crawling in my skin, you know?
I love it. Then we got Spirit Blossom Riven, a 1.0er. Brave warrior from an ancient land, Riven was ignobly cut down in the heat of battle thousands of years ago, her sword shattering in the process. Unable to find peace, I know, right? But can it be reforged?
No, that's not line, is it?
But should it be?
No.
Oh my god, that's really funny.
Yeah.
Unable to find peace, she obsessively scours an otherworldly battlefield for pieces of her broken blade, possessed by a horrific darkness that guides her into oblivion.
It's just a sword, man.
But it's a real good one. It's like, real good.
I know, but just you can move on.
We got Spirit Blossom Soraka 1.5 in a secluded corner of the Akana forest. Soraka weeps for those she's lost. Each life cut short she longs to save, but for as many that welcome her as a savior, there are others who see her power as a merciless cruelty. To the spirit of pity, death is never a blessing.
Wah, wah, wah. It seems like you were still in radio show mode. Anyway, sorry, Mark.
I was gonna say I was curious about this one because the idea of describing some of her stuff as a cruelty and like does she keep people alive when they're like horribly wounded or whatever?
Right.
Is that like kind of, something like that?
Yeah.
She doesn't let anyone die.
rough.
Even when it's like, dude, I'm 200. Just cut it.
Maybe it's like
Done.
or maybe it's like a Noxian
me outta
thing,
here.
right? Like she keeps people alive in battle and they end up dying in bed later.
Maybe.
Could be. I don't know.
Prefer to die in battle.
I thought it was interesting the way they described her here and that she ended up as an Akana. There's a couple of instances of champions being kind of like against type, I guess. I don't know, like in here.
Yeah.
I don't remember who the
Speaking
other
of
one
which.
is. But I know there's one more.
Spirit Blossom Thresh. Oh wait, no, we're in the Akana section. No, this makes sense.
No, he's still.
That would be bananas. If he's like, I'm gently guiding their souls through my lantern.
An ancient demon of obsession. Thresh delights in tormenting the spirits of those he deems as flawed, but blossoming with potential. He haunts the spiritual afterlife as a supreme collector of souls, tempting the dead away from their path to salvation until they are trapped for eternity within their own memories.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. We got Spirit Blossom Tristana. For those that seek glory on the battlefield is a 1.5er. To those that look to the spirits for a bountiful harvest, Tristana greets all with a toothy grin. The spirit of chance has no favorites, no obligations or motives. She simply delights in the chaos, the fear in men's eyes, and the roll of the dice.
That's a very different Tristana.
Yeah. It feels neatly on brand. Like, I get it. Makes sense for her. She's
it's
chaos,
like
man. She's chaotic.
Jinx as Tristana.
Yeah. I'm glad it's not Jinx. If it was Jinx, it would feel a little too like
On the nose,
you know what I mean? It's like on the
like
nose,
samey.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, samey.
We got Spirit Blossom Vane. Vane came from a long clan of monster hunters, annihilated to the last when the primordial demon of pain chanced upon their hidden village. Unable to let go and doomed to her own obsessions for eternity, she hunts the creature without end, always unable to catch it. Do we know who the Spirit of Pain is? Oh, it's probably Evelyn, huh?
Yeah, I assume it's that one. I think what was funny is I think it was like the wiki or something has like extra details around this at one point. It's like, oh, a demon light fiddlesticks that revels in pain like Evelyn does. I was like, because it's Evelyn. It's Evelyn. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say this was. I feel like she was part of 1.0, and I feel like you very specifically. Yeah, it's not very sneaky. Then we've got Spirit Blossom Yorick, 1.5er. The grove he called home burnt to ashes before his very eyes. While another retreated into solitude, Yorick allowed the rage to consume him. The flowers and trees that bloom in the spirit of ruin's wake are haunting. The gardeners that tend to them howling creatures of the night.
That sounds kind of fun.
You want to tend his garden?
No.
What do you mean by that exactly? Because the answer's going to be different.
You know.
Oh, then yeah.
Okay, good.
He's so swole,
I don't
man.
like gardening.
I like
You
it in
like
theory.
gardening?
I just wish it was easier.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. It's hot.
I want it to work like Stardew. I plant a seed, I water it, and then it grows, and then I pick it.
I one time was pulling weeds, and I pulled out a big weed, and about 500 ants came spilling out of a giant hole that it created. And I haven't pulled a weed since, I don't think.
Is that here?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
It was horrifying.
Oh, man.
That's why you don't help with the weeding.
That sounds kind of cool.
If I weren't kneeling right next to it, it was cool but horrifying.
That's fair.
I was, hordes of ants. They definitely
scary
when you're not expecting it. Very scary. I remember on a camping trip, I was doing my
tangent.
I was doing my wilderness survival merit badge in Boy Scouts, and I was building a shelter, and the last piece of wood that I put on the shelter was apparently a hollow piece of wood, and I didn't notice. I picked it up, I was carrying it to the shelter, and the whole time ants were pouring out and climbing up my arms, and I didn't notice until right before I put it down, and then I was fucking covered, and I was fucking freaked. I could not sleep that night. I definitely didn't sleep in the shelter, which was now covered in ants. I just yeah, that sucked.
It's theirs now. It's the ants shelter.
How do I still have stories that I haven't heard? What were you asking, Mark?
I want to ask is how did you not notice until I feel like when I have one ant on me, I'm very aware of it.
Well, because I had long sleeves on.
Okay.
Always,
Yeah, it's true. He's always cold.
That's fair.
Although right now you're in short sleeves and I'm in long sleeves.
I know, right?
Anyway, what do we got?
Spirit Blossom Ari. We're on to the Conmai, folks.
The goodies.
The famed Spirit of Salvation and the fox all mortals are beckoned towards when their souls arrive to the spirit realm. A capricious, whimsical spirit who sees the fate of the living as a game of chase. She offers the chance for souls to find their final rest, but will not intervene if they stray from the path. And then this has a Legend of Runeterra level up. When mortal souls cross... Actually, let me read this real quick. Let's see. None of the Legends of Runeterra levels up are anything new. It's basically just a recap of what their normal blurb is. If there's anything new, I'll let you know.
Okay, thanks.
Next up, Spirit Blossom Evelyn. A nice generous Conmai here. Come, leave your flesh behind and pass into the spirit world. Bring with you only your desires, your vices, your painful memories. Let the spirit of love feed on these unwanted temptations, for her hunger is ravenous. Evelyn will show you peace at last. So I guess it is a different spirit.
I guess it isn't. But they say everything with a really heavy wink.
I think she, right? Yeah, she's not actually.
Maybe this is Evelyn before she hits level 6, right?
She makes you come.
She doesn't have her shade form, and then her shade form.
She didn't do that the last game I played against her. She's killed me a bunch.
I screamed, but the wrong kind.
Now.
Oh, this is a lot of quotes.
Evelyn has a lot of quotes.
Okay.
Most people had one quote associated with their Legend of Runeterra level. Evelyn's got a shit ton of them. So, a being without judgment, the spirit of love welcomes any into her intimate embrace. Thief or nobleman, pauper or queen, be it anguish, fear, or unrequited love, the adoring Evelyn will take everything there is to take. Let's see. You weren't strong enough for your empire, love, but your weakness fills my heart.
Ooh.
Such a vicious, prideful being, but I know how powerless you feel, darling. Rest your head in my lap.
I like this one.
Such captivating...
No, I was going to read the one that I liked.
Oh, go for it.
Are you going to read all of them?
No, you can go for it.
Oh, okay. I think I lost it.
It's the 4th one.
No, it was a different one that I had read. Oh, your moon's light can't reach you here, sweet thing, so I will keep you warm. I like that one.
Sweet thing.
Sweet thing.
That's what I want.
You're just a big cup of iced tea, aren't you?
Did I say like that?
No, but I can just imagine her saying it. Sweet thing. It's so
Your moon's light can't reach you here, sweet thing.
Here for the spirit blossoms. Honey, the spirit blossoms ain't been here, I ain't seen. Oh my gosh, almighty!
This sounds like someone in the Sinners movie.
I ain't seen a spirit. We haven't even watched the Sinners movie. I want to so bad.
We're going to.
Are we?
Yeah.
When?
Next time when your mom visits.
Okay.
Get a babysitter. 'Cause we're seeing it.
Yeah, I know. I want to see so bad.
We'll see when it leaves theaters. I'm sure Teresa will babysit if we can't.
Okay. We're planning our date right here.
Spirit Blossom Syndra. Children hear stories of the savior of lost souls, the ever-reclusive Spirit of Freedom. One such speaks of a tree that wrapped its roots around a wandering wisp. The wisp struggled alone until Syndra ripped off the bindings that held it tight, as she would do for all creatures, lest they be lost forever.
This is one of the goodies?
Yeah, she frees people.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great freedom. Yeah, from fucking trees.
From
Don't
doing
fuck
what to
trees,
trees?
folks.
Superstar.
You can hug them. You can hug them. That's okay. Especially on Ionia. Damn, son. I think you gotta take a tree out on a date before you can hug that thing in Ionia, man. Show it a good time, you know?
Throw some wine at it.
We'll get to that.
Tree, you're drunk. You're drunk. Give me your roots.
You're cut off. I was about to say taking a wine glass and like putting it up against the tree and just letting it drip out. Is that good?
There we go. Oh, you're thirsty.
Hint of grape.
Taste that oaky after. Ooh.
Oaky. It was age in your system.
God damn it.
Jesus fucking.
I meant like she was dead in a barrel or something.
No, yeah.
Spirit Blossom.
Corpse.
Yeah, I need Timo right now. He'll innocent this up.
A trickster spirit and a child of the forest, Timo's famed across Ionia as the embodiment of nature, though his more onerous accolade is the king of pranks. A consummate gadfly and lover of all things annoying, his exploits in tricking mortals have graced the pages of Ionian history for hundreds of years. And
they use the word gadfly.
Right?
Yeah, that really threw me off.
Continue.
This has a prestige, not quite as runway as the last one. Having abstained from pranking his best friend forever, literally once, which is your character in Spirit Bonds, the spirit of salvation has gifted Timo with his wildest dream, becoming shiny and gold. Never one to leave anybody alone, ever. He has promised his BFF to prank them at every opportunity, every day, until they die, and join him in the spirit realm. Good luck to him. And then we've got a level up here. He's got some quotes. Eat them while they're fresh. Don't be shy. There's more than enough for everyone. I think you'll find the taste quite explosive. Blowing my friends up with spirit shrooms never gets old. And we got Spirit Blossom Yasuo. Long ago, two brothers fought a bitter war across Ionia. Yasuo, the younger brother, was a warlord renowned for his roguish demeanor, until he was accused of crimes against the country and took up arms to defend himself. Both were fated to fall in their final duel. A lesson, perhaps, in pride and hubris.
I like the story we get about them in the short story better.
Yeah, because we get two versions of it even.
Yeah.
They feel more like little fairy tales, because fairy tales often have like they've got little ironic twists or something like that. They're kind of they're fantastical.
Yeah.
And then the Yone one, it's basically the same thing. But Yone was a warlord renowned for his adherence to honor and duty, and fought to defend the country against those who would break its rites and rituals, until he was forced to confront his own brother for his crimes.
Damn Yasuo.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Those are all the champions in 1 and 1.5.
It's a popular skin line. It's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And the main short story we have here is Perennial, which is kind of like a canon short story, but they talk a lot about various interpretations of, Spirit Blossom legends within it, which was really fun. But yeah, does anyone have a synopsis they want to run us through?
Sure. Sure. Yeah, you've been doing a lot of talking. We'll give you a little break here.
I have a drink.
Thanks.
Yeah, no worries. It's Perennial by Dana Laurie Shaw. I have it up here just so I can remember the names because the names were a little tricky I didn't write them down. But it's essentially, it's essentially following this family in Ionia. It's the first Spirit Blossom Festival. So this is a big thing that is kind of we find out through the story is that the Spirit Blossom Festival has not been happening like since the Noxian invasion. This is the first one since the invasion, right? Like they're finally blooming again. So it's a big deal. And it's following this family as they're kind of coming together for this. It's across 3 generations. There's the grandmother Pascoma. And what's going on with Pascoma? She runs a tea shop. Are they in Waylay?
They're in Waylay.
They're in Waylay. She runs a tea shop, and she is getting ready to have for the festival, having all the visitors that are going to come through. She is with her current not husband for very specific reasons. Iturin.
Yes.
Her husband Okare had died fighting the Noxians, and has been gone for a while. And something they kind of show here is that a lot of her apprehension around this festival that's coming up is that like normally what would happen is that if your husband, wife, or partner had died, and you found someone new, you would commune with them during the Spirit Blossom Festival, and you would kind of talk to them and inform them about this new thing that had come up in your life, and you would kind of ask for their blessing and things like that. And if they gave it to you, then like you would, I don't know, like if this seems like probably not across the board, but at least for like Iturin and her, they want Okare's blessing before they can like marry, before they get married. So that's why they're not married right now. And while they're kind of getting ready, her daughter Terasi, is that right?
I think that sounds right. Yeah.
Yes, Terasi shows up kind of unexpectedly. Terasi doesn't live very close. Terasi has kind of shown up with her daughter, Pascoma's granddaughter, Satoka, is also in tow, but Terasi's husband, Kumohi, man, there's a lot of names flying out here. Kumohi is not. And when they when Terasi shows up, and the grandmother asks, where's what's his face, Kumohi, she kind of sees that there is something going on. There's something that has caused him to not join for this meetup. And so the other thing we kind of see is that the granddaughter is she's kind of bristling at a lot of what's going on here. And as the story goes on, we see a bit where the granddaughter and the new man on the scene, Iturin, they're going around and they're prepping, because what they have to do is they have to get the tea house ready in all these sorts of different ways. They wash it in wine, for example. They wash all the rooms in wine. They make sure there's like 2 candles in every room, etc., etc. And one of the things that Iturin is doing is gathering up all of the blades and swords, etc., and burying them underneath the rooms in the tea house. And while he's going, he is telling one of the stories about the Spirit Blossom to the granddaughter, and the granddaughter is kind of interrupting him, being like, well, no, that's not how that works. The gatekeeper isn't called that. She's called the fox, right? And we can kind of see that a lot of that's kind of coming from the way that her dad, Okare, had told those stories. So she's like, what's going on is there's resentment, right? From her towards this new man on the scene.
Yeah, Okare is the dead husband.
Yeah, well, that's what she's...
The daughter
I'm not wrong.
The
granddaughter is...
I think
the granddaughter's dad is still alive.
He is, but I guess what I'm not clear about, because they talk about, when they say, so Fa'ir is father, that's right, yeah. So she's talking about what her dad says, I guess, to be fair.
Not her grandfather, yeah.
Not her grandfather, yeah. Still, like, it's a very tenuous, bristly relationship between these two. Iturin is like, okay, she's at least willing to come and bury these swords with me. I'm not gonna push it, right?
Yeah, he's so sweet.
Yeah, he's nice and quiet, and he just says, "Let's go."
Respectful.
Anyway, respectful, yeah. And then we also kind of see that while that's happening, the grandmother and her daughter are talking, and she's spilling the beans. And what has kind of gone on is that Noxian ships have been showing up where they live, back in the village that the granddaughter is or the daughter, the daughter is from. And they seem to just be there peacefully. They're not causing any problems, but there's been like rumors that they've been kind of scouting out, and what everyone also kind of knows is that that's the way it happened last time. Was Noxian ships were there, and they didn't cause any problems, but they were absolutely war masoning the shit out of Ionia. So everyone's really like not sure what like, and more importantly, a resistance is kind of forming in that area where people are kind of Boston Tea partying these Noxian merchant ships. They're sneaking aboard, they're dumping everything that's not nailed down. And right now there's been no violence, but like more Noxian ships are coming with soldiers, and the husband who stayed there is a part of this resistance, and there's like they fundamentally disagree about whether or not he should be doing that, and so she left to keep her and her family and her daughter safe, right? And he stayed.
She clearly kind of seems to be on his side on.
Oh, the daughter, yeah. She wanted to stay with her dad and fight with the resistance.
Yes, yeah, she's really unhappy about kind of having to leave and being there. We kind of cut to the daughter going around out in the town while everyone's getting ready for the festival, and she's seeing all the stuff that's going on. And while she's going around, these Noxians are there. They're not causing any problems. Everyone's giving them a very wide berth, and they, to be fair, also seem sort of like lost, or sort of like, they seem to be like apologetic, I think would be the word
that was
they used to
the
describe
word
their
they
demeanor.
used. So they like felt bad that they were there during this like festival of, death and life, and
Yeah, and one of them kind of goes to go buy these kind of cakes. They're these cakes that are kind of special to the festival, and Sataka, the granddaughter, like kind of gets up in their face and spits at the ground on them. And this is like the biggest faux pas that you can imagine. Before she even knows what's happening, Iturin is there kind of like apologizing and pulling her away. And
one thing I liked about this a lot too was like they do specifically mention that like the Noxians weren't even like in uniform or anything like that, but everyone just fucking knew they were Noxians. They're just like they have this air about them.
Yeah. When she's brought back, the grandmother is sort of like, her mother, the Tarasi starts kind of reaming her out, mostly just because it's like, do you understand how dangerous that is, right? Like, if they are here with designs, like you've made yourself known to them, right? So you're gonna like, that's her big concern, is that like you're gonna agitate them and they're going to fuck the place up, right? They might or do something, attack you, etc. And while they're having this new guest comes to the tea house with these noticeably like amber eyes, right? Like, and she's like, and she's just kind of like sort of interrupting and flippantly talking about like, it's like I'm looking for this is a great tea house. I'm looking for like a guard, and then the grandmother's like, no, you can't bring anyone who wields a weapon in here. So like you can leave if you want to go do that. Here's your shit. and this mysterious stranger is like, oh, this is the best tea house. I won't leave. You misunderstand this. Don't worry about it. I'm charming. I wonder who I am. And then
she swishes her 9 tails up the stairs.
Swishes away. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that night they kind of have their big Spirit Blossom feast. It's like a bed and breakfast, sort of. All the guests are partaking, and they're sharing the stories. And the granddaughter is kind of getting into an argument with this new guest about like, oh, would the fox really do this? Like, why wouldn't she be like that? And then Ari, or whoever it is.
Given their reluctance to say her name, can we just call her the Tail Lady?
The Tail Lady.
How long you been sitting on that one, man? Did you write that down before this episode?
I thought of it like 10 seconds ago, but I didn't want to interrupt.
He's like,
no,
I just did. Oh my god.
Oh man. Anyway, yeah, so they're kind of talking about like, oh, why isn't it like this? Why does she do this? And the tail lady is sort of like, well, I think she gives this long-winded sort of like explanation of something, and then the granddaughter's like, really? And the tail lady is like, no, I'm just joking. I just made that up. Aren't I charming? And then she calls the turn over and she's like, by the way, I'm going to need that guard here. So like, it's cool, right? And we can see he sort of goes slack jaw and he's like, yeah, of course. And for just a moment, his eyes kind of have that same amber thing. And she's also like, oh, and go tell your wife. Cause like,
oh yeah, it's real bitchy. I don't think you and your wife are on the same page, big man.
Big fella.
Big boy is probably.
You tall drink of water over here. Guys love when you
call him big boy.
I'm a big boy.
Forget daddy. It's big boy now.
I'm a big boy now.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, so they go out that night to go, because like you said, what you do is you go and you find the blossom that is the blossom of who you're looking for, who you want to commune with, and they go find him. And they talk about also how like there's so many blossoms on the trees. Never seen this many in the past spirit blossoms that the grandmother had seen, and it's like, and she's really it's kind of a tragic scene because she's like, she's not finding the blossom of her husband that she lost, and she's looking around and she's seeing how like this is supposed, and she kind of ends up talking to it about it with Turin about how like this is supposed to be something that is like everything's at peace. It's like we talked about. It's allowing a connection, and you're the ones who have passed to check in on you and make sure everything's okay, and to kind of peacefully, like everyone's supposed to be very content with like accepting things, but people are like weeping and begging their loved ones not to go, and like just or all these things that like things are not, it's not the way that she wants it to be, right?
Yeah.
And her and I Turin kind of talk about it, and he kind of comforts her and is able to kind of like reassure her, and she kind of. There's also a moment too where like she's like on a mountaintop far away, she hears these Noxian drums and sees this fire, and it like almost gives her like a panic attack thing where she's like, I know what that means. It's like the last time I heard those drums, it was after like these massive battles when the Noxians would burn their dead.
It's
so. It's kind of.
It's just a little messed up, and we'll get to the Noxian point of view in a second. But them doing this like ceremony to mourn their dead in the middle of this Ionian ceremony to mourn their dead is kind of fucked. But also, I get why they're doing it. They're not welcomed in Noxius anymore.
Yeah.
But anyway, and I like that conflict that's there. Yeah. It's really complicated. These decades after the first Noxian invasion, the Noxians who are left there, and this like really messed up like companionship they almost have to have with these people that they've killed their family members. It's just, that's war though, right? Like
especially these ones, because like we do find out that like these are specifically deserters. These are not current Noxian soldiers. They've deserted the army. They have been trying to integrate, but obviously they stand out as Noxian, so no one really wants them there. They don't really want to hang on to Noxian traditions either, but they're kind of like, well, we have to honor our dead somehow, right? We can't do it this way. We don't want to do it this way, but it's kind of our only option. Like, we only know the two ways. Fuck.
Yeah, like you said, it's very complicated. It's very messy. I think I really love this story, and I think that's a big reason why, is because it really it's like there's a lot of attention to detail and thinking through all of the different ways that like, okay, you got this festival, right? It exists within this universe and this world. Like what are the little details of how it works that could be used for like proper narrative impact? Things like the spirit blossoms being like abundant because there's been so much death, right? Mm-hmm. The fact that it hasn't happened in a while. The granddaughter will make mention of like, I think there's one point where she talked about like, oh, it's been like, she was very little the last time that there was a spirit blossom. The grandmother's like, I'm not like, she's about to break down, but she's purposefully like making sure to not show it because she doesn't want to spoil this like like what might be the first, or like the, maybe I might have been the first Spirit Blossom Festival for the granddaughter. Even I think maybe it was her daughter, who she was still pretty little when the last one happened. It's just like, and then like they're talking again about the bit. I know we haven't technically concluded it, but you're. I'm
sorry, I derailed us.
No, it's fine. I mean, it's like you said, the way it ends is very bitter in that, like you said, what's happening is that far away the Noxians are doing their own little dead honoring ceremony, and it's a Noxian thing, and none of them really believe in any of it. They don't. It's this, like you said, this isn't their home, but that Noxus certainly isn't. And they talk about how they're offering up these kind of prayers to these sort of gods, like. And the words are sort of like, well, let Noxus, spread across the earth, and etc. And they're like, I hope, the like closing line is like, I hope they don't hear it. I hope these gods that we're praying to don't hear them, because like we know what that would mean for everybody here. If
yeah, they also reveal that the soldiers being brought in are for them, right? I think that's what they said. Is a lot of the Ionians were worried. Oh, I thought that was it. I might be wrong.
I don't think so. My read on that, I think what it is that like part of the reason they had.
So they're John's confused. Sorry, the Noxians who have been coming in, right? Ionians are worried about Noxians coming in, that they were searching for deserters. I thought that's what the thing was, but.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Okay, I probably made that up in my head then. Never mind.
I mean, it's a good idea.
Because there's a little bit at the end where the Noxian is kind of internally thinking like how they had seen the ships and the soldiers, and they knew what that meant. And what I think this is sort of alluding to is like Nox is preparing for a second invasion of Ionia. Like they're talking about like they hope they don't ever have to fight these people again, but they had seen what Noxus is doing and know that that's probably what's going to happen. And I assume that that's supposed to be like it speaking part as to why they deserted, right? Is because they didn't want to go through and do those things again.
A little detail I liked here at the end too was like when I forget the granddaughter's name.
Sakota?
But when she kind of spits at the Noxian, the Noxian was like in the middle of buying some cake when it happened, and she had like the cake, and then the granddaughter spit at her feet. And later at the ceremony, we also find out that like she was so like, I guess not necessarily hurt, but like it impacted her so much that like she didn't even eat the cake. She's like, I can't even eat it. Like I bought it at this festival, and I'm clearly not welcome. I don't deserve this cake. And they ended up burning the cake at the funeral pyre.
Yeah, there's very little moments like that I really like. There's a bit where the grandmother she's looking at all the ways that the festival is kind of wrong, and one of the things she sees is like the kids are going around playing soldier with these sticks and stuff, but there's not like mirth in it. There's a seriousness to what they're doing that is like, I think it says like shouldn't be there, because they're obviously like mimicking things they've seen or heard, right?
Yeah.
And it was just like, ooh, fuck me.
I think one of my favorite things about this story is like, I feel like beginning to end, there's so much tension. Like everything is like coiled so tight and just like ready to explode, but like it never does.
No.
And like this is just life in Ionia at all times now.
Yeah.
I was really surprised in reading it, because it's separated out into chapters. I was like, man, what's going to happen in this last chapter? And then it hard cuts to just like the Noxians kind of doing their thing. I was like, it really feels like it. I had the expectation that it was going to go on, like much more was going to happen, like you said, or that this will be carried on. But like it's just, like you said, it's just like a little snapshot of like, yeah, this is just what the day to day and moment to moment is. Like
there's like no peace in Ionia, right?
Yeah,
like, there's just tension.
Yeah, and I mean at the end there with the family, the grandmother doesn't end up finding the petal. I mean, maybe she does later that night, but we don't see it. But she does have this tender moment with her new partner, where she kind of realizes that even if she doesn't get the blessing, she still wants to marry him, like their family now, which I thought was sweet. Yeah, but we don't know if she didn't have the connection that she did with her husband anymore. It's been so long since he's passed. It's not like the other Spirit Blossom festivals, and they probably happen much sooner after you've lost a loved one. It's been decades now, and it's just not there. That connection's not there anymore. It's wild. I do like how she's sitting there and thinking about in all the ways it's changed, because that's something that happens as you get older. And you never want to sound like that old man, who's sitting there being like, in my day. But it really is like that does pop into your head a lot, that, the ways that it used to be. And for her, it was a better way because it was more optimistic. You're saying your loved ones are checking in on you. You're making peace. You're looking at the future. That's what she says it is it used to be about saying goodbye to the past and looking at the future. And now it's about clinging to the past. But people have lost their loved ones in such like more unexpected ways now, and it's just different.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, it's just it was very effective, very tight, very well written. I found it to be really very touching. Mm-hmm. Everything felt messy and human in a way that felt very authentic. I guess like these felt like genuine people, and the little family drama that's kind of playing out. In a way that just felt very real. I know Ari shows up, but she's very incidental. There's no Darius running around. Some old bullshit,
I would have liked it better without Ari, to be honest.
Yeah, it is funny at one point. They're like, oh, wow, this guest, she's got great ears for this fox costume she's rocking. Damn, those are good.
I do love this that she's drawing on her face.
They look great on the Rift.
I love the through line through so many pieces of media of just Ari looking for a bodyguard for some fucking reason.
That's really true.
About it.
Like, she never... I don't know what type of bodyguard she's looking for that would be at all more effective at protecting her than she is at protecting herself. I mean, even when she finds Yasuo, she's just like, I'm too much of a danger to my bodyguard. I should leave and be on my own. Like, I don't know what the fuck.
No. She's just like doesn't want to be alone, and this is the way that she can admit it to herself.
That's fair.
I also like... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, nothing. I was gonna say, what does she think Arturian's gonna even do? You think he's gonna go what's her face, Pacoma, and be like, okay, so bodyguards, that's cool now, right? Like,
right?
She's
like,
just gonna say no.
Change her mind. Like, that's her tea shop. Oh, the tea shop's so cool, by the way. When they describe it, they had like an experienced wood weaver like create it out of like this fuchsia tree or something like that.
Different colors depending on the season.
Yeah, it's probably so beautiful. And the rooms are all like in this tree, like they're talking about when they're burying the swords, they're digging under the roots of the tree that they're living in. Like, damn, I want to live in a tree so bad, man.
Treehouse, really?
Treehouse. I know there's no air conditioning, so I'd give up so fast.
Midlife treehouse.
A midlife treehouse. That is a midlife crisis our nerdy asses would have. I'm like, it's for Poppy. Man. I never let her in it.
Right.
No kids allowed.
Dangerous.
Yeah, you can't climb up it. I'm so sorry.
For adults only, where we have our tea parties.
It's wine.
For some reason too, like when I thought about the when I thought about Pascoma trying to like talk to Okrai and be like, oh, is it cool if like I marry this guy? The first thing that I thought of was like Titanic, when fucking Rose ends up in the afterlife and like the first person she runs into is fucking Jack instead of her like husband that she had kids with
like 50 plus years that she was married to him.
That's when you do that Spirit Blossom Festival. You move on, man.
It was just a dream she was having before she died.
Yeah.
She was just telling the story of the Titanic, so that's what it was,
Yeah, it's the last thing your brain thought of. Yes, exactly. Yeah, for sure.
And it's not about the size of the door. It's the buoyancy of it.
I agree. Yeah, you can't put, that should have tipped right over. What about like a turn-based situation?
I think that would be worse.
Everyone just gets a little bit cold.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Oh, just a smidge cold.
It's just a smidge.
Yeah.
Just a bit.
Now the other really kind of short...
Yeah,
this is a great story. I love it. I kind of put spirit bonds within the short story realm here too. I'm not going to go into like a lot of the details here because there's like a lot of stories and champions, and I'll just say at a high level, you kind of you died but didn't really die is the
you got here by accident.
Feeling I'm getting. You kind of ended up here, but you're not dead. And the first person you run into is Ari, who's ferrying people, and she's like, you don't belong here. And you become embroiled in this afterlife drama where Thresh is now trying to steal all the souls when they die instead of letting Ari guide them and then just tempting them off the trail. He's just kind of like being like, nope, mine. So you have to help Ari stop Thresh from doing that, and in doing so you interact with all sorts of characters. You get Thresh to fall in love with you. Yeah, you get Thresh. Yeah, you do get Thresh to fall in love with you.
Yeah,
that's true.
I'm not kidding.
You interact with some Lilia, some Riven, some Vayne, Cassiopeia, maybe others I forget.
Etc.
Oh yeah, Kindred and but that's the main story, right? Like you're just trying to stop Thresh from stealing souls that he shouldn't steal, because he is supposed to steal a certain amount of them, just the ones that don't follow. He's supposed to tempt them, not steal them. The choice is supposed to be theirs.
Cinematics.
And then, so that brings us to some cinematics. We have The Path, an Ionian myth, where we see the genesis of Spirit Blossom Yone, which is also, ironically, pretty much the story of just regular Yone, with very few differences.
Yeah, funny that.
They swap his white hair for black, and bam, you've got Yone.
Hey, I'll take it.
I read that. Sorry, I just read that as just swap his whale hair for black, and I was really confused. Go ahead, Mark.
Classic whale hair.
I was gonna say this. I forgot how fucking cool this cinematic is, man.
Yeah.
When he gets into it, dude, it's super cool. It's scary too. It's a little fucking.
The Path one or Kin of the Stained Blade?
Well, both really.
I thought The Path was okay.
I mean, I guess I really dig on when he gets once he's pulled off the trail, and he starts kind of having his freak out, and there's like the demon that starts kind of like he's pounding on that, and then there's like the demon that's like mirroring it, and then they start doing their anime fight sequence. That don't really work for me. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool for sure. Yeah, a little demon bite at the end. Yeah. After you thought he'd won.
Gremlin.
And then we've got Kin of the Stained Blade, where we get all sorts of Yasuo Yone history here. And this is a very cool animation, right? Like they anything that's historical, where we learn about like the history of Yasuo and Yone, is kind of like a more anime style. And then it goes into like a more like 3D style when we go to modern day Yasuo in Waylay at the Spirit Blossom Festival, presumably here to just kind of like talk to Yone, right? Like he has someone he wants to talk to. Unfortunately, he gets tricked by that ding-dang Asakana. He's got a demon who's been following him and tricks him into drinking the wrong tea, which seems to kind of put him under some sort of spell. And then Yone comes to defeat the Asakani. Yasuo fights against him for a little bit because, the wrong tea and all that. But eventually he uses his special keyword.
Oh, yeah.
Which is better than living without it. And then Yasuo's like, oh shit, it's Yone! He says it like that too, it's weird. Mm-hmm. And then the two of them work together to fight the demon.
I guess I never thought about that'd be pretty nuts if you had been intending to go there to commune via like a spirit blossom thing, and then Yone is there in this other manifested form fighting a fucking demon. That's a pretty big paradigm shift.
Right?
He took it pretty well.
He did, yeah. This was, Also a very cool cinematic. I loved this one. This one is a long one. This is like a 16-minute cinematic. Like, this one's no joke.
Yeah. That's great.
You haven't seen this one?
I don't think so.
Oh, damn. You should fucking watch this one. This is very good.
Dude. All 16 minutes.
It might be closer to 9.
Marathon it.
Well, those are very different times, John.
But for a cinematic, it's very long.
Sure.
It's very long, yeah.
You get a whole ass story here. You get Yasuo and Yone when they were kids.
Oh.
And we've got Beyond the Garden, which is the Lilia release cinematic. It's not for the Spirit Blossom Lilia skin, but it heavily features the other Spirit Blossom skins in the cinematic. Mm-hmm. And then we have Wandering Spirits, which is a 1.5 cinematic, where we follow Spirit Blossom Set as he looks for his Akani dad, the spirit of abandonment. The whole cinematic is told through basically a letter that he sent to his mom, telling her about all the cool different spirits he's encountering on the trip. It's pretty cute.
Yeah. This one's a little bittersweet, too, because he's like, I got a good feeling this year. And it's like, oh, man, he's not going to catch that, get that guy. Spirit of abandonment? The fuck out of here.
It's the one thing. He's very good at it.
Yeah.
And I've got a few fun facts here. You want some fun facts?
I do.
Sure.
So Spirit Blossom was originally pitched as a reboot to the Sakura skin line, which includes Sakura Karma and a TFT Sakura Rune Spirit.
Oh.
Man, I forgot about Sakura Karma. Holy crap.
Yeah, that was there was a God, I forget the rider now. I had this and it's gone now, but it was like one specific rider who was like very passionate about this and was pushing for it, and actually ended up having to like leave Riot before it was realized. But then somebody else pushed it over the finish line. She was very excited.
That's very cool.
So this theme was initially introduced in the Perennial short story as stories told during a Navori Spirit Festival, with the champions represented by the characters represented by the champions, actual folktale characters in Ionian myths. My sentence is hard to understand, and I'm not going to read it again.
Okay,
I'm just going to move on.
Take it how you will.
Yeah.
Sorry, I write novels.
Yeah. So before the skin line's release, several quotes on Summoner's Rift would randomly be heard. Spirit Blossom Thresh was the announcer at the time and was teasing the release of Lilia and the Spirit Blossom skin line. He had quotes like, "They took your home, Lilia. Do not forget this loss. Let it course through you." Very Palpatine. "Poor lost spirits beckoning to bloom. I've been waiting for you." It's very Ursula.
They could just be their own people.
No. During the summer of 2020, from July 22nd till August.
Just imagining, like Palpatine on the Ursula body.
What a hell of an image you've crafted.
No.
Just your voice. Jetsam, now I've got our boys. I'm listening to a lot of poor unfortunate souls around these parts lately, so.
It's Sarah. She won't
Body
stop.
language. Oh my god!
I think that was just her laugh. Palpatine and
Right? See?
They have the same laugh. I think that they would have that in common.
Yeah.
Palpatine and Ursula. Anyway.
So yeah, during summer of 2020, the Nexus Blitz map and game mode were updated to match the Spirit Blossom skin line that was released during the period, which was also when Spirit Bonds was released. Yone was first teased as the next champion with Spirit Blossom Thresh's voice lines. So that skin got released. He had Yone-related voice lines before Yone was released.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Spirit Blossom Ari's kimono is supposed to be wrapped right side over left side, as in Japan it is believed that only the dead wrap right over left. However, several artwork depicts her wearing it the alive way instead, incorrectly. Whoopsie. In Legends of Runeterra, there are Spirit Blossom versions of followers, such as Karina Varaza, Dragonling, Eye of the Dragon, Green Glade Caretaker, and just a fucking million of Evelyn's Husk cards. She has so many. And then finally, we talked about this one a little bit, but Alune appeared for her first time in a physical debut in set 11 of Teamfight Tactics with the Spirit Blossom skin.
Pretty cool.
Neat.
And that's all, folks.
Any other final Spirit Blossom thoughts?
No, it's a really neat idea. I really like when Riot takes things that are both like kind of an AU, but then also has something tied into the mainline lore. You know, this especially in this story. I think I not actually read this story before. I think way back when we did Ari, I misunderstood Spirit Blossom.
Yeah.
And so I didn't read it, and I'm so glad that I've discovered it so late in life.
I think I did read it at the time that we did Ari, but it took me Ari was so long ago, y'all. It took me through halfway through the story that I was like, I'm pretty positive I've read this story, but I did not remember it well enough.
Right. I feel like that was back when I was reading. If it was a very long story, I feel like I would look for when the champion showed up and then read that portion. So I don't know if I had read it beginning to end or not.
Interesting. Yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, I'm excited to see what happens in season 2 here with the Spirit Blossom thing. Spirit Blossom Beyond or whatever.
Yeah, I hope Spirit Blossom gets incorporated in any future shows or anything they might do around Ionia. I like the idea a lot. And if they were doing a show in Ionia, a Spirit Blossom happening for, a little arc or something would be really, really cool.
Yeah.
I would love that.
I would love to do some sort of tabletop one-shot thing set during a Spirit Blossom thing where you could dip around in the Spirit. I mean, I would love to do that for League in general, so it's not like,
That's true.
So specific.
A Spirit Blossom event in the MMO.
Oh, don't! Don't get me excited.
We did. I don't know if you guys heard this or not, but very recently, Mark Merrill gave a talk at a convention where he did specifically mention the MMO. There's no meaningful updates about it, but confirmed that it
exists.
It is still being worked on.
Okay,
it has not been dropped.
That is a bit of a relief, honestly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was Spirit Blossom.
Season 1 and 1.5.
Thank you so much for listening. We have a Twitch, twitch.tv/loreheads. John never streams there, ever.
I do.
I'm just kidding. He streams Saturday evenings around 6:30, 7:30 p.m. EST. He does a little bit of an indie game, and then he'll do TFT and ARAM with viewers. He's been playing more TFT lately, so I think you might have some advice for people if they were looking for it.
I know, right? I've been playing this set, at least in Double Up, so...
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he's pretty good. Used to be Master, right?
Yeah,
a little bit.
We hit there.
Just a little bit.
The Master. Not we, as in me and him, or him and Mark, but him and another friend, Mike. What else we got? YouTube. We have a YouTube. If you want to see our beautiful faces or catch some of John's VODs on there, he does post them, and there's some really funny parody songs. You can check out our YouTube. We also have a Discord if you want to find some people to play League with, post some memes, have a giggle fest, post your pet. Join the Discord. I think that's what they do there.
They do.
Yep.
So many giggle fests.
We also have a Patreon. Very shortly, we will have a discussion about Convergence. Thank you so much to all of our patrons.
And a very special thank you to our Medarda tier patrons, Mr. Dead and King of Hearts. If you were Noxians at the Spirit Blossom Festival and you were deserters, I would welcome you and give you honey cake so that you wouldn't have to burn it in a funeral pyre.
Aww.
Okay. Would you burn him a little bit, like how Turin did? He spent 2 days making them cakes. Still burnt him a little bit.
Right.
Well, you shouldn't have cooked them for 2 days.
How low was your oven?
Fully dried out those bad boys. Hard as rocks, dude. You made fucking honey dust cakes.
Honey pucks.
This just sounds like a good cereal now. Anyway, please be sure to join us next week. We have a couple ideas in the works. Yeah. Should I sign one out?
I was going to say, it'll either be... I think we narrowed it down to 2.
We did.
And one depends on Sarah's willingness, so we're not going to commit her to that because we haven't even asked yet. We will either be doing some sort of test like we did with the Bilgewater.
A lorehead quiz.
A lorehead quiz, if you will.
A test.
Test.
Everyone get out your pens.
An exam.
If you fail, you no longer get to be a lorehead.
You got to fill in the bubbles.
Shit.
Barring that, we will be talking about Targon as a region.
Yay!
Show up next time, we'll see.